and at the same time, the treasurer of the Philippine Computer Society. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Mar Ayan and Novencido.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah,
Good afternoon, sir.
let me just share my screen. Uh, there. Can you already see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So good afternoon, everybody. For today, for this session, I'll be talking about accrediting computing and information technology education programs. So this is under PCS, Information and Computing Accreditation Board, known as PICAM. So just to have a quick introduction, as I've already been introduced earlier. So I am Mar Ian Novencido. You can call me Mar. I'm currently the MAS manager for B. Braun Medical Supplies Inc. It's a medical company providing medical supplies. No, I've been with the company for around 10 years already. And aside from the professional, I've been into PCS since 2014. No, and I'm one of the board of trustees for PCS and currently also the treasurer. And for PCAB, since 2019, I've been chairing the CAC or Computing Accreditation Commission. And before that, I was the chair for the criteria committee. And before that, when the PCAB was just starting, I was an accredited team chair and also a registered program evaluator. No? So the outline of my presentation is just a quick one. So we'll just have an introduction of what PCS or PCAB is and what our accreditation is. And then discuss briefly on the criteria on for accreditation of PCAB. And also I will discuss briefly on how your HEI will be on the procedure on how to be accredited. And then the last portion will be on the question and answer. So to start with, what is accreditation? So accreditation is simply as the act of granting credit or recognition to a program, to a person, or anything. No, and this accreditation has standards and protocols that this individual or maybe the HEIs or any body they have met. No, so some of the principles is for PICAB is that it's a non-governmental organization conducts the review. And then accreditation is, again, this is voluntary. So it's not mandatory for anybody. So if you're just interested on accreditation, then it's voluntary. And first is it requires a self-assessment by the program, and it's a continuous process. So meaning it's not just one time. So for a period of time, you'll be given an accreditation status, and then by the time that it will expire, then you need to renew your accreditation. And some other principles is that it's fair and impartial peer process. So these the program evaluators are professional practitioners. They are educators. They are professional IT background without the IT background. And then, as mentioned earlier, there's a standard accreditation criteria, policies, and procedures in which the reviewers or the evaluators will be guided. No, and at the end of that evaluation or accreditation, there's only two status. So it's either accredited or not accredited. And the important thing as well is that accredited programs just comply to the standards and they are not ranked. Okay, so to give you a background on Philippine Computer Society, it's an established organization since 1967. It's formally named as the Data Processing Management Association of the Philippines. It was the premier organization of IT professionals and also the oldest organization in the country and second oldest in Asia. So, and then in 1978, PCS became the founding member of the Southeast Asia Regional Computer Confederation, SEARC, whose members include computer societies from Australia, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, New Zealand, Pakistan, Singapore, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. So since then, PCS has been a long and honored history of growing ICT industry professionals, and it has a monthly and annual activities has been conducted ever since. And PCS is more on the professional development as well as industry updates. Okay, and then to give you also another background on what PICAB is, so Philippine PCS, Information and Computing Accreditation Board, PICAB, was formed way back in 2014. And PCS is the only qualified entity to represent the country for membership in the Seoul Accord, as it conforms to the strict Seoul Accord requirements of an organization with an individual IT practitioners as members. Now, PICAB has four organizations, no, member organizations. So, Computing Society of the Philippines, CSP as one, PCS, PSIA, Philippine Software Industry Association, and PSI. For the organizational structure, so PCS as the head, and then under PCS is the PICAB, Board of Directors, and there's a line for the Advisory Council, and under the Board of Directors is the CAC, and under CAC are the Program Evaluators Registry. And beside the CAC, there is this operations team. Now, for the ratio of industry to academe, no, with regards to the members of the program evaluators, there are only 19% from industry and 81% from academe, which means that there are more academe program evaluators rather than the industry. And on the Computing Accreditation Commission, CAC, there's a 28% industry and 72% academe. So in the future, what we would like to to grow on is to make the industry part of the pie to be bigger. Since what we envision is that for the HEIs, since the industry are the ones benefiting from all the graduates of the academe, so it would be beneficial only so that the industry will have more, how do you call this, more influence on how the graduates would be, the graduate attributes would be. For CAC and PRPE, there are 17 CAC members and one CAC chair. And currently, there are 59 members of the PICAB Registry of Program Evaluators. Now, Sol Accord. What is Sol Accord? No, if you can see with this source, Sol Accord is a multilateral agreement among agencies responsible for accreditation or recognition of tertiary level computing and IT-related qualifications. So Sol Accord is it's part of a standard of standard standard graduate attributes that identify characteristics of the graduates. With this Sol Accord, there are members globally, and the regular members is they have nine regular members. ABIC, this is from Korea. ABET, this is from the US. Australian Computer Society, the name itself is from Australia. British Computer Society is from UK. Canadian Information Processing Society, CIPS, is from Canada. Consejo Nacional de Acreditación and Informatica y Computación AC. So, in short, medyo mahirap i-bagkasin yung pangalan nila. CONAIC, this is from, I think, from Mexico. And Hong Kong Institution of Engineers, IEET from Taiwan, and JABI from Japan. So these are the nine signatories of Seoul Accord. Now, before you become a regular member, you will have to go through the process of being a provisional member. And PICAB is one of these organizations from Australia, from Sri Lanka, from Ireland, from New Zealand, from Indonesia, and from Malaysia. So we are currently, we will be applying for a regular membership soon. So we are hoping that in the next 2 years that we will be able to be a regular member. Okay, so nominations from SA observers from ABIC and JABI. So when we applied for the provisional members, so we had these recommendations from these organizations. And also we have an additional nomination from ABEC from the US. And in 2015, June 2015, we were given provisional membership. No? So this is our start of being a provisional membership. Okay, so PCAB is provisional membership is for ASEAN. That's direct representation to Seoul Accord. That was before when we joined the Seoul Accord, but now we have already our neighboring countries like Malaysia and Indonesia. And then this allows Philippine HEIs to pick up accredited programs confidently invite foreign nationals because of the standards that these graduates are. Once the program is accredited with Seoul Accord, it is equivalent to the programs that has been accredited by the other Seoul Accord organizations, members. Now, for the list of PCAP accredited programs, so the latest is in February 2019. It's the Asia Pacific College with their IT, Information Technology program. So it started in February 2019. And then there's also the Batangas State University in Alangilan campus for programs Computer Science and Information Technology from June of 2018. The ICM of Batangas with Information Technology since June of 2018. Napo Institute of Technology Makati. They have three programs, Computer Science, Information Systems, and Information Technology from February 2016. Another is the two campuses of TIP, Manila and Quezon City from 2015, February 2015, and the University of Mindanao from March 2017. You can see this list of accredited programs via the PCAB website. So some of the, what value does an accreditation give us? So for students and parents, help students select quality programs and ease of employment mobility across the globe. Like what I mentioned earlier, if the program is accredited via Seoul Accord, then it is equivalent on the other programs that are also Seoul Accord accredited programs around the globe, not just for the Philippines. For institutions, there's a leveraged degree of programs equivalent to the Seoul Accord, which means that if your program is accredited, and then you would be included on the list of HEIs or institutions which have a program accredited by the Seoul Accord. For faculty, for sure, some of you are in the academe. So institution is improving quality. As mentioned earlier, accreditation is continuous, so it does not stop. So there's improvement. And for industry, availability of CIT related manpower. As also mentioned earlier, industry has to have a say on what graduate attributes the HEIs should be producing. Sorry, again, question and answer. Just to browse through the PCAB criteria for accreditation. So just a quick background. In December 11, 2012, the CHED issued a memorandum as part of the CMO. There should be a policy standard to enhance quality assurance in Philippine higher education through outcomes-based quality assurance. Just some definition of terms. Higher education institution, these are a provider of tertiary level education to offer baccalaureate degree programs with the CHED. ITE program, this is baccalaureate degree program in higher education under the purview of the CHED, TP, Technical Panel for Information Technology Education. And in June 2015, these are the three programs that we will be able to accredit. So Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Information Systems, and Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. I'm not very much sure yet on what is the status if Bachelor of Science in Library Science and Information Management would be included on the list of programs that can be accredited. So since there's a confusion between ITE, so we decided that we rename it as Computing and Information Technology Education, CITE program instead of just ITE. So there are some major steps of implementing outcome-based. I'm sure you may have an idea already of this. So each HEIs will have program PEOs, student outcomes, curriculums, objectives and outcomes, and improve the quality of education. So PEOs excuse me, are broad statements that are described by the institution on what the program would like to achieve. And it's intentionally aligned with the mission of the HEI to respond to the needs of the program's constituents, particularly industry employers. For student outcomes, these are desired attributes of the students, to gain at the time of their graduation, and related to knowledge, to skills and behaviors as they acquire this baccalaureate program. And these skills, knowledge, and behaviors need to be verifiable by a measurable means. What are the relationships of SOs and PEOs? So attainment of student outcomes must foster the attainment of the PEOs. So it has to be aligned. No, so if you already have an idea on what the criteria of accreditation for PCAB, then you will have to align all SOs against the PEOs. And also the curriculum, this is the um, set of courses designed to provide learning. This is designed to achieve the student outcomes. So, excuse me. So as you can see, there are relationships from the curriculum going to the student outcomes, going to the PEOs. Now, for to discuss again, to discuss the criteria on how we would be accrediting CIT programs. Um, Pickup criteria for accreditation are substantially equivalent. That's the reason why we are a provisional member of the Seoul Accord, because of the criteria that we have been using is equivalent, substantially equivalent to the SA, Seoul Accord members. And our criteria are patterned after the criteria of ABET and ABIT and of the other signatories. Uh, And then first criteria is the HEI should have a government recognition from CHED. So this is the the most important criteria since the HEI should be recognized by CHED. And then the next are general criteria. So there are nine criteria under the general, and each criterion applies to every CITE program. So the three programs. And then for each program, there are specific criteria. Um, Basically, to separate the criteria from the three programs. So from computer science, from IS, information systems, and information technology. And then PICAP policies and procedures. So during the accreditation, the HCI should also be compliant to PICAP policies and procedures. So as mentioned earlier, to be accredited for a program, to be accredited, all of the criterias should be satisfied. Excuse. So this is as mentioned earlier, there should be government recognition from CHED. For the general criteria, first criteria or criterion are PEOs. Second are the student outcomes. Third is the curriculum. Then we have criterion for students, for faculty, facilities, institutional support, and industry academic linkage. So I would not be discussing each and every one, but if you want to have an idea on what are the general criteria, you can visit the website for pickup. There is this document that you can download and review. Okay, so that's the nine general criteria. As for the program criteria, it depends on which criteria. For CS, for IS, and IT, there are different additional criteria on top of the general criteria. To discuss the accreditation procedure, so first is a request for evaluation, an RFE. Normally, this is the what we do is the deadline for an RFE is January 31st of the cycle calendar year in which the review is desired. So if you wish to be accredited starting next year, then the deadline for the RFE request for evaluation is January 31st, 2022. The RFE is a document that must be signed by the HEI's chief executive officer, either the president, the chancellor, rector, or equivalent, and must be submitted with one official transcript of records of a recent graduate for the program. No? So if there are several programs, then there should be at least one in each program. On-site visiting team. So after you have submitted your RFE, um, the visiting team will be created, no, depending on which program that you have requested for. No, so an on-site visiting team normally has one team chair and one program evaluator for each program. If there is only one program, then there would be two program evaluators for that specific program. Okay, so before this was on-site visiting, but currently we have also opened our virtual visits to the HEIs, not to just enable um, our accreditation. Normally, this is done from March to June. So the team will be identified from March to June. prior to the final appointment of the team, the HCI will still have the final say on, or the HCI will have a review on the team. No? So there's a possibility. It depends on the conflict of interest and everything. The HCI may reject one of the team member, or in case of perceived conflict of interest. No? So the HCI will still have the approval on the visiting team. SSR, what is an SSR? So SSR is as mentioned earlier, there's a self-assessment before the actual accreditation. So there will be an SSR to be submitted no later than July 1 of that calendar year, on when it will be conducted. No? And then this SSR will be the basis of the visiting team for their evaluation of the HEI. And then for final preparation for on-site review, so prior to arriving on-site or even virtually, the team will request several documents from HEIs to verify um, what you have put in the SSR. So this may be from official transcripts of records for the graduation program, or any additional documents that the visiting team needs to verify from the SSR. And then there's this on-site review. So before it was an on-site, but right now we can do virtual. And normally this is done in September until December. And then the normal schedule for an on-site review is at least 2.5 days. We suggest it to be a Sunday until Tuesday, so that on the first day there would not be much of students and everything. But now, with the current situation, it can be any day. No, so before, travel arrangements should allow enough time for everybody to be on site and everything. But right now, we have adjusted already on the virtual environment. On the exit meeting, this is after the evaluators have given their recommendations and everything. Uh, this is the meeting wherein the evaluation, well, not really final, initial evaluation of the evaluators will be presented to the executive officers, and on which they would want to include on that meeting. No? And then after the visit, there's this 7-day response, in which the program has 7 days to respond to the team chair in case of errors of fact. No? So which means they're just the typographical errors and everything. So they have 7 days to respond. After the 7 days, then there will be the evaluation will continue. Draft statement. So the draft statement is a letter. A document wherein the evaluation team has already summarized all of their evaluations and all of what they have seen on the programs. The institution, during the exit statement, there would be a summarized already, and the institution may not have to wait until the draft statement has been sent. No, so they could already address the shortcomings that the visiting team has found on their visit. And then draft statements are normally sent from December to February of the next year. Due process response. So after the draft statement has been sent, so you have 30 days after receipt to reply to the team chair of your response to the team's findings. Within these 30 days, like what I mentioned earlier, you don't have to wait for the draft statement. You can already address the concerns and the shortcomings after the exit visit. So that during these 30 days, you can already present to the team chair that you have done this, you've already addressed this, and you have addressed that, and so on. And then these due process responses normally from February to April of the next year. Final statement. So the team chair will consult with the PAs as necessary and incorporates all of the findings, also today's due process, and they would be presenting the final statement to the CAC for final processing. This is normally done in May to June of the next year. And final action. Final action is on the meeting in July, normally in July of the CAC. All of the accredited, all of the requests for accreditation will be reviewed by the CAC. No, so from each team chair, the team chair will be presenting all of the findings and everything, and then the CAC will be deciding on what actions, if it's accredited or not accredited, or there might be some or in between that needs to be done for them to be accredited. And then notification of final action after the meeting. So in July, then the ACI will be notified on what was decided by the CAC. So in summary, I'll just put in this one. So there's this 18 months, no? And normally there's this 18 months timeline from the RFE to the creation of the on-site team members until the sending of the SSRs, and visiting the team, and then final draft statements, 30 days process, and everything. So in October of the next year, there will be the accreditation will be publicly released via the PCAB website. Okay, so I think that's the end of sorry. There's this the most important topic, no? Just to share with the fees that the PCAB is offering. So for the service of a partial review of SSR, so we have a 35,000 per program. And then for the review of self-study report, SSR, this is 50,000 for each program. It depends on how many programs you want to have accredited, so each 50,000. And for the on-site review or the virtual review, it's 100,000, regardless of number of programs evaluated. And before, there's this variable fee of accommodation, food and travel. This has been minimized already because of our current situation. And then for the annual maintenance, so yearly, it's an annual maintenance of 40,000 until your accreditation has been revoked, and hopefully that will not be reached. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation. So maybe we could go on the questions and answers.
Thank you, Sir Mar. And we would like to ask the participants to type in their questions at the Q&A box so that we can elevate it and read it for our speaker this afternoon. Anyone from the audience who would like to ask about PCAB?
So I'll be just showing for more details. You can contact our secretariat at this email address or this mobile number. And this is our website for the PCAB. You can see it. You can browse through the PICAB website and you can download the criteria for your initial review. And you could also see on our website all of the accredited programs since 2015.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for showing the details. No,
Yeah, yeah.
because for sure our participants are taking shot of the contact details. pcab.secretariat at philippinecomputersociety.org, and you can access more information. Most probably, all the materials shared here are accessible and readable at the website shown on your screen. So once again, thank you, Picab, and thank you, Sir Mar. Thank you for
Mhm.
collaborating with CSP, CSP, and for this
Yeah.
conference also. It's nice to hear once again, Picab. FYI, I was once during the formation of Picab, being the president of P-Site during the
Yeah.
time when PCAB was organized.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
in this juncture, we would like to present our certificate of our appreciation, and we'll be sending our certificate of appreciation to Sir Mar Ian Novencido for
Mhm.
having us here and for sharing his invaluable time to the fourth um, for this conference. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, sir.
Thank you.
Daghang salamat, and that's that actually the last part of our program before our formal closing. We had a very long day and enriching day once again, and tomorrow is another day. This is a back-to-back conference. Actually, as we all know, or to recap for the day, we started with two distinguished guests, invited speakers who talk about data science, who emphasizes on both emphasize on communication, interpretation of data, and so on and so forth. And in the afternoon, the um, the presentation of the Bachelor of Science in Data Science and Analytics. Perhaps it was an opportunity for us to discuss also on the possibilities, and at the same time possibility, opportunities, and challenges in offering those challenges in the sense perhaps of the administrative and operational and perhaps readiness when we offer a new program as such Bachelor of Science in Data Science. And we are thankful to have also our friend from PCS, from PCAB, for presenting to us the the accrediting body in relation to Seoul Accord. So with this, we hope that you learned something new and got something new also for this conference. In behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thanks all of you for staying with us. We are actually down to 69 participants, but for sure, you can access our recording, and we would like to thank also our YouTube viewers because we are on live. As mentioned, please register also for tomorrow's activity, the Women's in Computing activity. It is hosted by CIT University. So I would like to give the screen back to our host or back to our chairman of this conference. And before that, I would like to thank all of you for staying with us. Once again, this is Dave Marshall from Silliman University. Thank you very much. Greg, any
Okay.
announcement?
Okay, thank you, by Dave. Thank you very much for your patience of saying and keeping being with us for the last 2 days. It's been an exciting journey, and do take note, this would always be a continuing journey for all of us, especially for us guys who have really stayed in the academia. Okay, and today I'd like to again to announce the new members of the board of the CSP Special Interest Group for Information and Computing Education. And hopefully they're still around, although Cherry has already gone out because she's actually preparing for tomorrow's Women in Computing Conference. But hopefully they're still around, the other members of the board. So from the Luzon area, so we have here Dr. Thelma Palawag. Okay, Dr. Thelma, can you enable your video or camera? Then we have Miss Arlene Trillanes from the National University. Then Dr. Jimmy Caro of UP Diliman. Then for Visayas, we have Victor Romero. Ah, okay. That's where I remember. So Victor. Okay. So Victor from UP Visayas Tacloban. Then we have Miss Eileen Vicente of UP Cebu. And then from SLSU, our partner and co-host of this conference, Dr. Francis Ray Padal. And then can we close the share screen? Okay, for a moment. Should I? Okay, so okay. Okay, for a moment. I'm just sharing. Okay, stop share. Okay, there. Okay, and then we have from Mindanao, we have Mr. Rabi Lavillas of MSU IIT. Then we have Kent Levi or Levi Bonifacio of Central Mindanao University. Did I say it right? Okay, Kent. And then from UIC, Miss Shiana Rhea Floribel. Okay, and with our board of advisors, well, welcome to the Board of Advisors, Cherry. So you have already accepted of being tagged as an elder. So one of the new members of the Board of Advisors for CSP Spice, Dr. Cherry Santromana, and along with these guys, Dr. Randy, Dr. Dave, and me being the youngest of the group. Okay, so it's something that I'm not proud of, but I really accept that kind of tagging. Okay. So, with that said, these are the members of the board of the Special Interest Group for Information and Computing Education, and we would like to ask the different participants to continue supporting these members of the board, and as well as challenging them. Okay, so that at least they would be up to their feet and making sure that we would continue the advocacy of making our country be armed well in addressing issues, especially relating to anything about computing. So, with that said, being the one ad hoc individual being ad hocly assigned to do the closing, I just like to say thank you very much to all the participants who have stayed with us, to our co-host and partner of this fourth Information and Computing Education Conference of the Southern Leyte State University, led by Francis. And by the way, Francis, I forgot to say thank you to Dr. Pros. Hopefully, you can extend that one to her for graciously accepting this being a partner of ICE Conference. And we look forward to everyone. And hopefully, we can be seeing each other physically next year. Hopefully, we'll be able to attain that herd immunity, and everyone will be safe. Okay, with respect to this virus, and I know for a fact that soon, very soon, we'll be able to end this one. And with that said, thank you very much. and it's been a pleasure working for everyone. And we will now be closing the ICE 2021 conference. And in behalf of our MC, thank you, by Dave, for again graciously accepting the role of being an MC. I know it's not really an easy task, and but yet we did it well. So yesterday we had Francis, today we had Dave, and our secretariat, Alfred. Alfred, so we still have something to do, especially with these certificates. So everyone, if ever you haven't signed up yet or participated in the evaluation, please do so, so that that will also be our basis for the giving out of the certificate of participation and certificate of attendance. Okay, thank you very much to everyone. And as we always say, as I always say in Facebook, and also if ever celebrating birthdays or have some momentous affair, I would always say, let's live life to the fullest, live, love, and let's always celebrate life. Adelante.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay. So I'll be stop streaming. Yes.
Recording stopped.
And recording. Okay, stop the recording. Okay, bye for now.